Hi folks, this is Bob Fritchie. As a quick check, if you can use your electronic hand and can hear me, please raise it so I know we have good connection. All right, thank you very much. We're off to a flying start. Boy, I'm surprised. We've got a lot of people on here today, folks from all over Europe, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, United States, South America, East and West Europe, many countries. Thank you all for being here. I know that it takes a definite effort on your part to take time to do this, and I appreciate it. For those of you who are new, we always ask the angelic realm to help us out on these programs. And today, this group, we're going to ask the Creator's angels to support us and join in with us as we do this program to implement these petitions. Now, the reason we do that is because years ago we found out that with the angels' help, we could accomplish a lot of things, much more than we could accomplish with just a group of folks working together like this. So let's all take in a deep breath, hold your breath, and now read out loud the following together. With our spirit and the divine love that is within us, we join together with the Creator's angels supporting us as one group energy providing service to humanity. Now breathe out, draw in your breath, and just pulse your breath lightly, and then just feel the energy circulating through your system and through this group. It's very powerful, and it will build as time goes on. You'll see what I mean. This year we took on correcting 6 major topics that have been hindering humanity. I won't read them all to you. We are on the last one today called Love Among All Nations. Now some people have written to me and they've said, well, how do you know it's working? Take a look at the newspapers and watch very carefully what's going on. It looked like there is a lot of chaos throughout the world. There are problems in the Middle East. There are problems with outbreaks of diseases in various parts of the world. There is violence throughout the world. And what's happening is this is all being brought to a head where people have to start looking at and dealing with these things instead of ignoring them. So today we're working on Love Among All Nations. Now, my latest book, Being at One with the Divine, is available through Amazon and other online booksellers worldwide, including Australia and New Zealand, including Japan. I think there's 10 different countries that have outlets, and these books are reaching people in over 50 countries, so that's pretty neat. But the thing about it is that I devote considerable time to explaining to people what the mass consciousness is and how we can correct it, working with these divine love petitions. So you might want to get a copy of that and read up on it if you haven't got it. Did you know there's 196 countries in the world? Yeah, I know. You're going to go and Google it right away, and you're going to find out somebody says, well, there's 194 or 195, or largest number, 196. So I'm going to go with that. But the real issue is, what do you think the chances are that we're going to come to a point where people can really love each other and not just go on killing, maiming, doing all the things that countries are doing to one another? And whether you did that with diplomatic or religious means, it doesn't seem to me that's very probable, right? It's not very likely that that's going to happen. Now, these folks in all these countries come from a huge background of belief systems, ethnic practices, religions, ideology. That makes it very difficult to come to any kind of agreement between these nations, and that's really unheard of. I would consider myself a fairly decent world traveler. I've been all over Europe, in all the major countries there, in Japan and Korea, down to Australia, New Zealand, Central America, haven't made it to South America, folks, so we'll get there pretty quick. But there are so many different cultures in every one of these countries. And where it might be totally acceptable to behave in a certain manner in this country, it's an offense to people in another country. And even the words or the idea of shaking hands, touching, or bowing, in some cultures you can't do that. But what we do know is that every one of us has a spiritual birthright. And in that spiritual birthright, there is a union, a gathering, an association, if you like, with the creator of the universe. And we are all equally entitled to that, regardless of what country you come from, what you believe, who you are, what sex, age, job you have, job you don't have, anything at all. We all have that same birthright. Now, I speak to that in several of my books, and you can understand more about how to work with your birthright as you review those. But fundamentally, most people believe in a higher power. They call it a higher spiritual source of the Creator. And they get that either through their religious practices, their common sense, or the individual path that they're following to self-enlightenment. And it's true in just about any religion that you look at that there is that identity out there. Now, we like to teach people that we have both a soul and an internal spirit that guides us if we allow it. It's part of our makeup. It's not goblins. It's not creaky ghosts that scare you in the night like you see on movies or watch on television. It's none of that. It's a very high spiritual presence that is part of each one of us, and we are all part of that same whole. Now, the really neat thing is that since this is all available to us, we can all work with that spiritual energy in exactly the same measure to help people and help solve the problems that we're experiencing in humanity today. Now it looks like I have a little frozen screen issue going on here. Just bear with me. Interesting. Haven't had that one happen before. But we're going to keep right on going here. This birthright you can have through any of the religious practices, but actually it's not taught there, and that's a sad thing. Here we go. It is a source of energy, and that energy is a divine energy. And because it's divine, we call it divine love. And we recognize it as a creator's energy. Now, over the last 34 years that we've been teaching people, we found that if we use our spirit in conjunction with divine love, and we hold a spiritual intention, a clean thought, a spiritual thought to help people, we can achieve a change in what's called the mass consciousness. And believe me, the effect is very real. We've been doing this since 2009, and there have been a lot of people who've witnessed some of the major effects that we have had throughout the world. They're getting more subtle now because of the amount of upheaval and chaos, but you can continue to watch and see what's going on. Some other people have tried to do the same thing we're doing, but they use personal love. And one of the major things that I want to tell you is that we cannot effectively work with personal love because we can't agree on it for definitions or applications as we go through all these cultures of the world. But there is a very distinct difference between divine love and personal love. Here it is. Divine love is not judgmental. And I think everyone can agree that as you look at what's going on and we use personal love, we find out that it can be very judgmental. I'm only going to help you if I think you're doing the right thing or you believe what I want and I don't have any problems with that. That's being judgmental. Divine love is not emotional. And personal love can be very emotional. You can be very upset by what's going on in the world, your family, and your life, and that slows up the healing effect that you can have on people or things. Another thing is that divine love is unconditional. There are no strings attached. It's out there for everybody to use. And a lot of the teachings that are out there in terms of how to do healing work are very conditional. You must do it in a certain way. You must believe a certain thing, and so on and so forth. So that's why we use divine love. We try to keep it simple and keep it clean. By using divine love, we free ourselves from all the mental constraints that different cultures have and the constraints that we have even within a given country. Everybody believes differently. And we all have a tendency to miscommunicate. And divine love punches through all that miscommunication. Now we know that divine love will take care of just about anything if you apply it correctly. So here's the story. Well, suppose we set the stage for future behavior, both in ourselves and other people. And we'll do that in a way so that all of us can experience love among all nations and preserve, in the meantime, that which is spiritually true in every religion. So we're not in conflict here with anybody or their belief system. Now, we don't want to limit ourselves in what we're doing, so let's include everybody on the planet that wants to do the same thing. It's pretty easy. Then, if we're able to do that, we're going to be able to establish a spiritual baseline for promoting divine love among all nations, and it won't incur conflict. Now, does that mean every single being in the world is going to jump on board and say, yay, let's do this? No, but the ones that aren't involved and won't be doing this aren't going to be able to function very well because the world is changing and moving very strongly toward divine love. So people that are in conflict with divine love are having a very hard time right now. Now, what this will mean is that as we apply this, we're going to see improvements in tolerance, communication, and compassion among all the nations of the world. And that change is going to be accomplished by changing the mass consciousness. Now it decided to work. Well, let's see what happens here. I'm having a little problem with my display today, as you can see. So let's move on to the next thing. Our intent is to establish a fundamental basis that we can all live by, predicated on divine love. And that is done in such a manner that over time, people are going to be able to return to a state that we call being at one with the divine. Now, it's very straightforward, and it's so simple to do, it's mind-boggling. Here's how we implement these petitions. We're going to do two of them today. One deals with the awareness, and the other has to do with healing a particular problem that we're working on. Now, it takes some time to implement these petitions so that we can build up the energy, and that's where the angels come in, because we have a large group on here. Let's see, we got 63 people on here today. Appreciate that. Great group. But we also have a huge contingent of angels helping out. And those angels will take over when we get to a point where we have to move on in this program, and they will complete and implement and then watch over to see that these things get done. So we will ask the angels to take over at some point. Give you a little bit of background about mass consciousness. A lot of people said, well, it's a thought process, and gee, when you think about that, and you've got billions of people out here now, what is it, on the earth, 7 billion people? And there have been billions and billions and billions of people since the beginning of recorded history and before that. Everybody doing some thinking of one thing or another. So what's the deal? Well, all thoughts that people have are really energetic components. They're like bubbles. And they group together in like kind. So people that have common thoughts have their energy associated in bundles. It's kind of like you might go to a certain church, you might go to a certain social group, you might have a certain religious practice, a political practice, and you tend to congregate with people that think the way you do. And therefore, you form thoughts, and those thoughts collect in space together, like a big group of thought bubbles. And the thought bubbles are almost like thinking of soap bubbles clinging together in a bathtub, like when you have a bubble bath. So here is the first petition that we're going to do together. And I will do this slowly so that those of you who are on cell phones can read this and make out what's going on. So draw in your breath, and then together let's read this out loud. As spiritual beings, together with the Creator's angels, we send the combined divine love that is within us to the mass consciousness with the intent to dissolve all resistance, to love among all nations immediately. We replace that resistance with understanding that man must learn to function with divine love on a daily basis and honor mankind, nature, and the world. We ask that this be done according to the Creator's will. Now close your mouth, breathe in through your nose, and with your mouth closed, pulse your breath once through your nose like this, like you're trying to clear your sinus. Not so hard that you know what goes all over the front of your shirt. Gently. Now, as this petition is released into space, it goes to the mass consciousness, which surrounds the earth, and begins to interact with the earth and with the people on the earth. So this awareness petition is putting that out there. Tell me what you're feeling. Use your questions box to just report. I won't use anybody's last name, but I like to share what people are feeling because, or sense of what you think is going on, because it goes all over the world. And you'll all find that we're having an effect. Okay, Paulina says, bliss, that I can participate in world peace and healing. Exactly. Melanie says, peaceful and connected. Good. Wendy says, feel love, feel energy in my belly. Feel a lightness energy throughout. Good. Jennifer says, light energy moving. Judy says, quietness. Susanna, happiness inside. Sheila in Canada says, rolling energy going and tingling right up the spine. Kathy says, great power and love. By the way, we have a lot of people coming in from Ireland today. Welcome, folks. Welcome, everyone. Fenelina says, more strength and clarity. Stefana says, energy moving at first in the 14th chakra, energy moving in thighs and arms and relaxing and connecting with others. Good. Rosaline says, I feel a sense of peace and optimism and wonderful to be part of this group. Thank you. And Nimi says, a sense of peacefulness. Marnie says, I'm feeling willing and still somewhat scattered and overwhelmed, working on it. Just relax and enjoy it. Krista up in Brooklyn says, I feel a very supportive energy. John Callie in Wyoming says, Bob, I saw a bright golden light surrounding our planet. I feel a very deep, peaceful love all around me. I'm talking in sort of splintered voice here because every time I'm reading something, the screen jumps. Scott in California says, my heart chakra is filling up and expanding outward. Great. Nancy says, feel the connection to others. Suzanne says, quietness and hope. Eileen says, energy and peace. Mary, fullness in my heart chakra. Nimi feels uplifted. Christine says, I feel connected. Al says, I'm feeling a growing hope, peace in the future. Ina says, I'm feeling that just released a bubble of positivity out there. Okay, good. Susanna says, feeling excited and peaceful. So there you have it. We have people from all over the world. I gave you a cross-section of the folks that are on here. The numbers jumped up to 65. So we got some more folks coming in. But this is going on as we sit here and are dealing with this. Now, what's the expectation? We believe that this resistance to establishing love among all these nations is going to, in turn, link to humanity from the mass consciousness. And when that happens, those people that are open to change, open to divine love, open to having a better world, are going to start to absorb this energy from the mass consciousness. And they're going to find that when they change their behavior so that they can learn to love themselves, the Creator and their fellow man, and nature, then we're going to see a huge improvement in the world. And it has begun. It's already happening. You can look at the headlines to see the real bad news, but if you look on the on the interior of a lot of news broadcast pages of papers, reports, magazines, whatever it is that you're attracted to, you'll find there are some huge changes that are taking place as people are beginning to move forward. Now, we've all heard this business about who, what, where, when, and why, all right, to get information. You just saw who it is. It's this group that's on here today. And the what is this mass consciousness divine love awareness petition that we just did. So now we're going to go a little deeper. We're going to take a look at the where, the when, and the why. So just relax and enjoy this. If we work with divine love correctly, we're going to dissolve those bubbles and replace them with what we had in that previous petition. Now that means a group of ordinary people, just like you and me, who can get together in a group, smaller groups if you want, larger groups if you want, and you can change the mass consciousness using this mass consciousness divine love healing petition that we're about to do. The resulting change in that consciousness is going to help people become aware of the need to change their behavior. The when is right now, today. And the why is because there is no single human solution available. It just can't happen. So we have to do this spiritually. So here is the petition. But as we get into this, we're going to ask every human being's spirit that is living, that is the spirit of living people, to join with us. So let's do this one together and watch what happens. Just notice within yourself what's happening because it gets very dynamic. Here we go. As a spiritual group, we send divine love to every living person and ask them to join us spiritually in implementing this petition. We ask that the Creator fill all people with divine love and heal their systems of any resistance to establishing love among all nations according to the Creator's will. Close your mouth, draw in your breath, and pulse lightly through your nose once. Boy, can you guys feel a difference in that? Let's have some commentary on this one. Judy says almost a buzz. Wendy says, feel energy throughout growing. Ina says, strong petition. Yes, it is, Ina. Stefana says, yes, teeth are almost buzzing. Mine too. Yeah, I get it. Krista, tingling but very calming and peaceful. Suzanne S. says, serenity and faith. Good. Rosaline S. says, I feel strong waves of energy going out from me. You're right. Andrew says, a little lightheaded. Just take a breath, Andrew, and let it go. Judy says, sensations in front of my head on the right side. Okay. Sheila in Canada says, very warm, even in the cold room. Yellow aura energy all around. Good. Scott, California says, wow. Yeah, you getting it too, huh, Scott? Susanna C. says, peace. Jennifer in Florida says, much stronger energy this time. Peaceful. We've pulled in everybody in the world on this one, folks. That's why it's working so strongly. Al says, earlier felt much coming into myself. This changed to much going out to meet with others. Well said. Caitlin, down in Colorado, I guess, right? Says, waves of energy rising. Eileen says, increasing energy. John says, Bob, this time I saw an image of all the people on the planet basking in bright white light. It feels very peaceful and powerful. I feel a buzz in my body. Very good. Christine says, I'm grateful to participate and be a part of this amazing experience. Good. Judy says, yay! And I say yay too. Kathy, strong energetic connection to all. Amazing. Marnie says, feeling hopeful. Getting that we are all one and positive. Right. Anne up in Ireland says, feeling fuzzy with pulsating energy. Good. Mary says, when I pulsed out the breath, I felt a unity. Correct. Suzanne in Pennsylvania says, I'm seeing images as well of peaceful, loving interactions around the world. And it begins with us. Yes. So that's pretty powerful, wouldn't you say? And notice how folks from all over the world are reporting how they feel it and how it reacts with them. Can you imagine how this is affecting other people who aren't on this program but now have the opportunity to absorb this energy? And that's really what it is. It's free will and free choice. If somebody, it's a terrorist says, oh, I don't want any part of that, they're just going to reject it, and that's okay. But all the people who aren't rejecting it are absorbing it in a positive way. And this is not manipulation, by the way. I did get an email about that from someone some time ago and said, well, aren't we manipulating people? No, because divine love is not manipulative. We're doing this for the highest good of all of us. You never can abuse divine love because it won't. It just can't be toyed with or manipulated. So the reason you're feeling so much going on in your body is because this is doing the right thing. We're doing the right thing here. If you're interested in training, there's a series of books that I've written, and you can read them in order from left to right. The first one is Being at One with the Divine. That's the most recent, and that's really the go-to book for modern healing today and also for learning how to work with this mass consciousness effect. If you want to start at the beginning with the background, then start then with your second book, Surviving Chaos, which will give you the scientific background. You see, over the 34 years, 4 of those years were spent studying this stuff in an energy lab that we had out in California, proving this with doctors, scientists, professors from Stanford, Caltech, all over the place, all over the world, would come to this lab and spend a couple of months with us learning how to do energy work on this basis. Remember I said earlier there's a book called Apply Your Birthright? This is a pretty good book for giving you lots of examples on how to do it to make material changes take place in the world. It's not hocus pocus and magic. It is getting people to be more environmentally responsible, to correct things that you know are wrong, poisoned water systems, things like that. And then for those of you who want to learn how to speed up healing, accelerate your spiritual healing, we'll give you that. So those 4 books taken together give you a pretty good handle on what you need to know to do divine love healing. And as we've taught this for 34 years, we've corrected spiritual, emotional, and physical problems in people all over the world. Now, it's very unfortunate, though, that a lot of people just aren't willing to make any kind of a change. I guess it's human nature that nobody wants to change from where they are to something else unless there's no other option. And then when the pressure's on, they run around looking for something to grab onto. Or they wake up and they realize it's time to get moving. And they gravitate toward this program. A lot of people are helped. You can get on our website. If you haven't done that recently, I suggest you do. Take a look at some of the training materials there. Take a look over on the right-hand side on the tab. There's a tab there called MORE, More. In that tab, you will find that you can access one of the previous webinars that we did on building loving relationships. It's a webinar quite similar to this one. And I will post additional ones up there so that people can reference those, and in conjunction with the book, you can do all this yourself. Now, a lot of times people just sit there and, you know, they suffer unnecessarily, and they don't make any attempt to change, even if it's very bad for their health or bad for them and they're in pain. So I ask a question here. There are some of you that I have not seen on our healing webinars, the At Oneness webinars. So, you know, flat out, does this apply to you? Are you in that? If you are, I would suggest that you sign up for the At Oneness Healing System webinars. We have a series of those Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week. They're given at 11 in the morning, 6:30 at night, and 9 o'clock at night, one each on each day. So that we do it that way so people from all over the world can try to attend one of these. And if you just hover over the webinars tab, you'll see a drop-down menu show up that says description and registration. And you can get into that, and that's where you would register. If you haven't attended one of these, you really owe it to yourself to try it because they're life-changing. The people that have learned how to do this work are just having amazing results. And in the webinar, I show you the statistics. It's just incredible. So over 86%, I guess it is, maybe more, 88%, I think it is, that get a complete result inside of 2 weeks for problems that they've had for their whole lifetime. I don't know anywhere else you can get this. I'm not bragging on it, and I'm not trying to build a case on my own ego or any of that kind of stuff. I'm just saying divine love is an answer to most things in your life. If you don't take advantage of it, shame on you, okay? I said a minute ago that you can watch this Building Loving Relationships by going to the website. I will put this webinar on the website, even though it's sort of fractured by some of the problems that we had trying to show it to you today. And there will be others too that we'll put up there. Now, we have finished the 2014 series on mass consciousness, and I'm discontinuing these mass consciousness webinars in 2015 because we're at a point where there are enough of you who can make a difference by getting together in a group wherever you are, or starting one up in whatever country you're in, and dealing with the problems of your country. You have the book, Being at One with the Divine, that goes into pretty good detail on how to set up these petitions, what to do. Plus, you'll have a film library of webinars that you can refer to that will give you all the building blocks you need and the background you need. So I encourage you to keep doing this. There's a lot of things out there to do, and you can make a definite imprint on the world. Use whatever's out there on our website to your own advantage. Everything's copyrighted, but that doesn't mean that you can't use it, because you absolutely can. And check Being at One with the Divine for any guidance that you want. Now, I'd like to take a few minutes to thank people. I thank all of you for being on this program today. Truly, from my heart, I thank you, because you're making a dramatic impact. Now, if you want to take some time, jot down your questions. We'll go to open session here. I think I'm going to do it strictly with the questions box. I'll read a question and answer it, and that way everybody can hear it. We've got some time today. I think it'd be a good thing to do. Oh, Al just sent me a note. Says, oops, now I feel pushback from some sources that does not want this. We probably need angels to deal with this pushback. So before we get into the questions, let's all take a deep breath, and we release these two petitions to the guidance of the angels and ask them to take it forward, dealing with the adversity, putting these petitions in place and building them to the energy level needed to help humanity. There we go. All right, let's see. All right, Suzanne in Pennsylvania says, wow, it's a long message. Bob, this is a very important portal day for expansion on the planet. It is 11/11, and we are doing global meditations, and it is a big internal shift for humanity's ascension. I was so glad we were doing this today, because the effects of these awareness and healing petitions will be magnified tenfold. And much more than that, many thousands-fold, actually millions-fold. This is why the energies are feeling so powerful and moving through the MassCon almost seamlessly, because of the gateway we are all moving through today, individually and collectively. I hope you see this note. Deep gratitude and much love always. To you also, Suzanne. Rosalind says, thanks, Bob. You're doing wonderful work in the world. Okay. Fleur says, thank you for this, from the Netherlands. All right. Brian's asking a question. I've got your first 3 books on my Kindle and would love to add your latest. Any chance you will make this available? I'm not planning to put Being at One with the Divine into Kindle. I'm leaving it as a soft cover because it's an actual study guide. Aaron says, how quickly can one expect or hope for results from the AOHS webinar? Is it possible to recover from lifetime issues of low self-worth, lack of self-love, and acceptance? Okay, here's your homework, Aaron. Get on the website. Look at the healing reports. Start with the ones that were posted in 2013. I have not put anything up in 2014 purposely, because from 2013 backwards, you can see a mixture of efforts through the healing webinars that we did, where people had spontaneous healings for some of the problems they had. And this was teaching them to work one-on-one by themselves. Excuse me, one-on-one's the wrong term. Working by themselves without group support. There are also reports in there of people who use the free healing program that is group support. And you will see that there's such a collection in there, Aaron, and for everybody, that it boggles your mind when you see what's going on, that all these people recovered, and they all had lifetime issues. So the answer to your question is yes, and you'll find many examples along the line of what you just asked. Okay, Judy says, I'd love to know about results observed in groups experience. Is there a way to keep us connected as we proceed? Excuse me. You are connected. Get on the At Oneness Healing webinars coming up next week. You'll see just how it's done. Kristen says, thank you for being so high vibrational. Yeah, I have a tendency to float right out of my chair sometimes. Let's see. Al says, any chance of having special webinars on the specific problems that are going to be coming up soon? Yes, we'll deal with that as they show up. Let's see. Awareness openness is new information. Leaving past views behind will be needed for virtually everyone in the world. That's still Al. Can these be worked on a issue-by-issue basis? Yes, and that's how we'll approach it. Oh, good. Aaron says I'm on it. Homework. Good, Aaron. Suzanne S. says, thank you for this. Looking forward to the healing seminar next week. I've already benefited immensely from this work over the last year or so. Greetings from Ireland. Greetings to you, Suzanne. Ina over in Europe says, thank you, and angels and all the people participating and sharing. Very good. Eileen says, thanks, Bob. Sorry you are not doing more of these. I believe in this and feel more hopeful instead of most wasting time working in conservation and nature and other things. Well, start your own group, Eileen. All the tools are there. Nothing to it. Kathy says, thank you so much for this. I wish I had participated in the previous webinars. I will surely participate in upcoming healing webinars. Good, Kathy. John says, thanks very much, Bob. Magnificent webinar. Much love and peace to you. And to you also, John. Felicia says, thank you for your help and ongoing support. This work has changed my life and continues to. Much appreciated. Fantastic. Paulina says, sorry I missed this answer. Are you training people to do this work, or are the books the instruction manual? The books are. I used to do a training program on webinars, and it was highly effective, but it takes a long time. I may put it together as a series of movies that you can watch and learn that way too, in addition to the books. All right, Stefania says, incredibly strong today, especially your love and encouragement. Timing of your invitation to start your own group is just so on. Thank you. Good. Judy says, thank you, and thanks everybody and all beings. Great. John says, thanks very much, Bob. This was a magnificent webinar. Much love and peace to you and to you. Kristen, how do you help children who are being bullied at school connect with divine love? Get on the webinar. I'll show you how on next week. Rosalind says, just checking that this group healing on your website is free. The group healing is free. I know someone very much in need and cannot afford healing. That's fine. Put them through the free healing program. Let's see. I'm getting behind here. Judy says, since I started the petitions from the webinar in October, I'm seeing immediate and amazing results. Thank you, Bob, for this work. You're welcome. That was from Paulina. Al says, I feel pushback has been neutralized. Good job by all. Great. And Judy says, can we go back to refer friends to previous MassCon webinars to add to the energy? Sure. You bet. Absolutely. All right, Susanna S. says up in Pennsylvania, thank you everyone who has been a part of these. I think we've been on every one of these for the last 4 years. I look forward to whatever we do together from here, whether specific issues as they come up or other things that may develop. I honor you for all you are doing throughout your life and in the years I have dedicated to the work with you. Thank you. Stefania says, movies would be great to underline the info in the books. Oh, goody. Thanks again. I'm thinking about making those books audio files as well. Ann says, Bob, will you continue the Oneness seminars in 2015? Absolutely. They are amazing. We are also blessed to have your guidance. Love this webinar. Yes, I'm concentrating even more in 2015. You'll get an announcement on what that is after the webinars next week. Okay, Judy says, yay again. Heart hugs. Good. Jennifer says, thanks, Bob. You've been a great teacher. I'm grateful for all you're doing. Thanks for all here today. Very good, Jennifer. To you also. Marnie, thanks, Bob, and everyone. I will attend next week. Good. Sheila in Canada. Any chance of a forum on the WSI site so we can stay in touch with each other? That's a good idea. Let me take that one up. I'll think about that and see what we can set up. Ann in Ireland says, thanks, Bob. Lovely to hear your voice. Call my name X. Wow. All right. Okay, X. Just having fun with you. Krista up in Brooklyn says, thanks, Bob, for your service for all. You're welcome. Adriana, I haven't heard from you for a while. Thanks and appreciation and much love. And to you also. Well, folks, that pretty well concludes what we were going to cover today. I think you can still feel the energy moving. That will continue for some time until, on an individual basis, until it settles into you in the manner in which it's supposed to be. Oh, thanks, Ann. Wasn't trying to be concealing. The X was a kiss. Okay, well, throw a couple X's out there. Ann, don't be chintzy with your kisses. Just kidding. This has been a good session today, and I know, Ian just loaded up the screen. Thanks. And, I know that you folks can grab onto this and run with it and do it. Just check in the book, see how to do it. Check a couple of the webinars that will be posted. One's up now. This one will be up in a day or so. And enjoy them. Enjoy them. Have some fun with it. So I thank all of you for being here. And I think we're pretty well done. So blessings to everyone and lots of love to all of you. Take care.